Welcome to another In Wheel Time podcast. You've got the award-winning In Wheel Time car talk show coming up. AMC. Remember that brand?
Yep.
Author Patrick Foster has a new book, and everything you wanted to know. They did have their bright moments.
Yep.
Yes, they did.
A lot of good racing stuff.
Later, I'll tell you my thoughts on driving the 2024 Ford F-150 Raptor R, and Jeff has the Motor Minute.
Oh, yeah.
That and more in this segment of the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show. Howdy on a good Saturday morning for our live viewers. Along with Mike out of this world, Mars, we always need more Jeff Seekin. Chief Engineer David Ainsley, I'm Don Armstrong. Thanks so much for joining us. We truly appreciate it. It's been an exciting morning here before we went on the air.
Because everything is working. It's exciting.
Well, it started off with me having one of those,
senior moments?
Apron moments.
Apron?
I came out here before either one of you were here, and I vacuumed the studio.
Oh.
Don't ask me what possessed me to do that, but I think it was the dead leaves that had been in here for 6 months.
Oh, yeah.
But at any rate, I vacuumed it, and all of a sudden, I look outside, and there's Mars, who's already backed into the driveway to unload stuff for the studio.
Yeah, for the studio.
He was 30
The gate was open.
I did that on purpose. He was 30 minutes early. And then I look up again, and there you are, 20 minutes early.
Ta-da!
Apparently, we were very anxious for today's
Great
show.
minds
We
think
just want to
alike.
get it over with.
Well, that would be you and Jeff, not me. I ain't taking no credit on that one. All right. Patrick Foster is joining us now. Patrick, a very good Saturday morning to you, sir.
Good morning to you guys. How you doing?
Very well,
Good.
Thank you very much. The complete book of AMC Cars, the history of American Motors Corporation. I forgot, 54 to 88.
Yes.
For whatever reason, I thought that American Motors was before that, but it was Nash before that, was it not?
Nash, Nash Culminating Corporation and the Hudson Motor Car Company.
Oh, Hudson as
I
well.
forgot about the
Yes.
I did not. I'll never forget about the Hudson because Lori Brown, who I went to school with, I think in the 5th grade, her mother had a Hudson Hornet. And when she took me to school, I was never so embarrassed. And I slouched down in the back seat, not that you could see me anyway in that great big beetle-looking thing. And I was always embarrassed by it, but that's my memory of the Hudson Hornet.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Hudson was an amazing car. They had a really good performance reputation in the 20s and 30s. And then they regained it in the 50s with the Hudson Hornet. They dominated NASCAR for 4 years in a row.
That's another thing that I do remember, those early videos of film, actually, of NASCAR on the sands in Daytona. Mm-hmm. And who was up front? Was it Tim Flock? Is that who it was?
Tim Flock.
How did I remember that?
I don't know.
Marshall Teague was a big winner with that. And in that period, 51 to 54, if you weren't driving a Hudson Hornet in NASCAR, you were not getting any money.
What did they do? Were they straight sixes?
Yeah, they had it was a 308 straight six, flathead, no less.
Yeah.
But what made it so good was the car sat almost a foot lower than other cars.
That's right.
Step-down body style that every car has nowadays, but they were the first one. And it was a simple thing where an engineer said, hey, we've been welding the floorboard onto the top of the frame rail. Why don't we weld it to the bottom of the frame rail? Because then we're going to get more room inside the car. And that lowered the car so much that the car outhandled anything on the road. Nothing could catch it except on a straightaway. An Olds V8 could catch it on a straightaway, but they couldn't keep up with it in the corners.
That's really cool. What a great story that is. And then 54.
So you get this Hudson Motor Company and Nash, and they were two of the largest independent American automakers.
I do remember very distinctly in my early childhood the Nash Rambler.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I think that it wasn't because of the styling. I think it was the name, the Rambler.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Historic name. It had, another car had that name years before and was very famous. But the thing about the Nash Rambler was when we exited World War II, anybody who wanted to buy an American car had pretty much one choice. You could get a big car, and that was it. And Nash Motors said, we're having all this suburbia is opening up. People are moving out of cities, and housewives all of a sudden are not going to be able to walk down the street to the butcher shop or the grocery store. They're going to need their own car. So they came up with this smaller car that was much easier to handle, and it sold like hotcakes. It was just amazing because back then the Rambler was just known as a smart car for very intelligent people.
So when did the transition take place from Nash Kelvinator Rambler to AMC?
May 1st, 1954, that's when American Motors was formally established, but they had been in discussions for over a year, and the decision to merge had been made earlier. And it was all because Henry Ford II, in 1953, mid-1953, he made a vow. He said, I am going to make Ford cars the number one selling car in America, or I'm going to kill the company doing it. And he started shipping cars to his dealers without orders. He would just send them, 50 cars and say, you got to sell these because we're going to bill you at the end of the month.
Oh, boy.
And Chevrolet, of course, had to go in with that. Plymouth did too. And everybody, the low-priced 3 cars were selling like crazy, and it killed the independents. Nash, Hudson, Packard, Studebaker, Willis Overland, they got creamed by this. And it was known as the sales war of 1954.
So the only choice that they had was to merge.
That was it. Yeah. So Studebaker merged with Packard. Willis Overland had a unique situation in that they had the Jeep, and there was nothing on earth that could compete with the Jeep.
Right.
They were okay, but they stopped making automobiles.
Well, let's talk about your book, the 54 to 88 portion of AMC, which is a homologation of several brands, but they really came into their own, I think, in the 60s when the competition heated up among Chevrolets and Fords, namely Camaro and Mustang.
Yeah, they had a president in 1964, Roy Abernathy, who ran this commercial that said, the only race that American Motors is interested in is the human race. And, they were plugging this economy, sensible car image just as the muscle car market was taking off. And it killed them. It really hurt the company very badly. Finally, in 1968, they were able to field the Javelin, and a few months after that, the 2-seat AMX. And that really started to change people's perception of American Motors cars. You see, there were 4 big American car companies, and of those 4, only 2 could field a 2-passenger sports car, Chevy with the Corvette and American Motors with the AMX. So AMC got this image as, this is an innovative car company. They're able to do something that Ford and Chrysler couldn't even do.
Wasn't it a day late and a dollar short, though?
No, it was a halo car. It sold fairly well. It was a tremendously successful race car, and people love. And when people say AMC cars are not collectible, they don't get any money. A good number one AMX will fetch $60,000 to $80,000 without breaking a sweat nowadays.
Absolutely,
people do like them.
Yeah.
And then, they followed up with that with the Gremlin in 1970.
We all love the Gremlin.
Who doesn't like a Gremlin? I mean, if you don't like a Gremlin, you're a communist.
Oh. That's right.
And the thing about the Gremlin is, Chevrolet, everybody knew Chevy's going to bring out this small car, a subcompact to compete with the Japanese. And Ford's going to come out with a small car to compete with the Japanese. And they're both coming out in 1971. And then in 1970, complete surprise, American Motors brings a Gremlin on April Fool's Day in 1970, just to make it comical. And they beat everybody to the punch. And, this is a company everybody thought was marginal. It was, on the verge of going out of business. And they bring out the first American subcompact car before anybody else.
And they killed it.
Yeah, they should have spent more money developing that over time.
Yep.
They had this mentality that, well, we've got a Volkswagen here. We never have to change anything. But, on American cars, you do. You have to change it. And they were late getting a 4-cylinder engine. That was unforgivable.
Yeah.
The picture on the cover, that's...
you like that?
Yeah, that's a racing version. With Parnelli Jones, did he drive that in racing? Or am I mistaken?
I don't recall if Parnelli Jones
Was
did,
it
but Mark
Donahue?
Donahue. Sir.
Donahue,
Yeah.
Mark. Yes, okay.
Yeah,
I was thinking Parnelli.
So what?
Mark Donahue was very successful in racing with that and with the Matador.
Why did
Mostly he was known for the,
Why did AMC choose to build their cars in Kenosha?
There was a car company in Kenosha called the Thomas B. Jeffrey Company, and they built a car called the Rambler. And in the early part of the auto industry, or around 1916, the president of General Motors was unhappy with his position there. He wanted to own his own company. So he quit the presidency of GM, if you can imagine such a thing, even though he was very successful, and they would have kept him there for another 10 years. He quit. And he bought the Thomas B. Jeffrey Company, which was in Kenosha. They had a big factory, one of the biggest factories in the country, and the most modern one. And that's what he wanted. His name was Charlie Nash. So he bought the company, and he renamed it Nash Motors Company. And then they stayed there because they had a really well-equipped, large factory with plenty of room to grow. They had their own body plant. They made their own axles, their own engines, transmissions, everything. They made... 92% of the car was built within the factory.
Kind of like Henry did at Rouge River.
Yes, exactly.
Interesting.
Exactly.
I assume that you at least touch on this in your book.
Yes.
Good. Yeah. And, I was thumbing through it. Mr. Mars brought it in this morning. I was thumbing through it. You have some absolutely wonderful photographs.
Oh, they're
in
incredible.
Here. I don't know where you came up with all of this, but this is really
let's touch on that for a second.
This is my kind of book.
You made me so happy. I have the world's largest archive of American Motors historical information and photographs, and part of it is I have 20,000 American Motors press photos, black and white in color, and they're, you know what they look like. They're all 8x10 and et cetera. So when I did this book, I went through and I said I want to pick the photos I like the best. And I spent a lot of time on it. I'm glad you like them.
Yeah, very
well,
good.
I can tell that you have spent an enormous amount of time on what a great book. Whether you're a AMC fan, a Hudson, it doesn't make any difference.
Just
if you're a car guy, this is the kind of book that you want to have. What a great gift this would be for any car guy.
Did you go look at in the 1969 section, the Scrambler Rambler?
Yeah, find that one.
The Scrambler Rambler.
This crazy idea. It was going to be the last year they were going to build a Rambler, and somebody said, hey, why don't we take the AMX 390 V8 and 4-speed and stuff it under the hood of the very lightweight Rambler American and have Hearst do all the, put it all together, beef up the suspension, everything, put a tachometer outside the car on the hood, and let's see what happens, actually, not on that. That was on the machine, but... And
they had
then
a hood scoop on it?
Wild, red, white, and blue.
Yeah.
Paint job. All right, that's not custom. That's how they came from the factory.
I remember that. Yeah,
I was telling him earlier before the show started, we had a guy in town there when we were growing up. He had one of those, and I mean everybody he would come out on Saturday night and everybody just would look at it and swarm around it just to look at it. He never would race anybody. He was smart enough not to ever actually street race anybody, but everybody was just in awe of that car.
Well, on page 117, my heartthrob, Sherry Lewis, the puppeteer, and she's in the Gremlin. Yeah. What a great photograph. I kid you not. I mean, at least for my age, our age, that this is
really neat.
Truly,
he was good with my age. So.
Yeah.
Well, I'm only 49 years old.
Well, you got me beat by.
You've been working hard. You've been working hard.
Yeah. Patrick, how long did it take you to write the book?
It took me about a year, and a lot of it was, with my partner on the project, Tom Gashi. He did a lot of the writing. I did a lot of the research. I did all the photography, or most of the photography, And it's the first time I've done a book like this with a co-author, and it was just a real pleasure, And it helped us get the book to market faster. And I've had some health issues over the last year, so it helped me a lot.
So where can we get the book? Because Christmas is coming.
Well, the best place to get it is there's a website called www.olde, O-L-D-E, because I'm in New England. That's how they taught us to spell old. Old Milford, M-I-L-F-O-R-D, Press, PRESS.com. That's my company, oldmilfordpress.com. And you can get an autographed copy if you'd like. Just order it online, and it'll go out from my facility, and it'll be autographed, and you'll enjoy it, I think.
I'm sitting here enjoying it right now,
he's
just
flipping
thumbing through the
it.
pictures.
He is.
I mean, this is my kind of stuff. I like Hemings publications, and this is kind of reminiscent of some of the Hemings publications because we got pictures.
I've worked for Hemings for 30 years now.
So there you go. I get the connection.
I'm not on the staff. I'm a freelance writer. That's what I've done, most of my life.
Yeah.
A freelance auto writer, which, that's somebody who can make a living doing that. It's it's rare.
Yeah.
Yes.
But I've had a column with them for I don't know how many years, 20 years probably, in Hemings Classic Car magazine. And I've been a feature writer with them even back in the days when they had the old Special Interest Autos magazine. So yeah, I guess I don't know if I got the Hemings touch from them or if they've got the Foster touch from me. But
Let's go with the second one there.
A lot of it.
Yeah, well, it's a wonderful book. It's a true honor and pleasure to meet you. And you know what? After this, let's touch base and see what else you got working out throughout the year. Love talking to you.
Okay, well, I have written. This is my 35th book, and they're all about cars.
You know what? I think that what we need to do is just let you pick and choose, and here's what we're going to talk about the next time you talk to us. You just pick and choose.
That's a good idea. I like that idea.
Okay. Well,
it's
we
been
appreciate
great.
it.
Thanks for having me on.
Patrick, thank you so much, and enjoy your time. Has it turned fall up there yet, or is it still hot?
Yes. When we're done with this, I have to go out with the John Deere and pick up leaves.
Well,
and I've got leaves that are up to my knees.
yeah. Well, it's that time of year, and lucky you. At least you got to change the seasons up there. Patrick, thanks again, my friend. It's great talking to you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. AMC Cars, American Motors
cool.
Corporation. That is very cool. Love interviews like that. Okay. Hey, you can catch the In-Wheel Time Car Talk Show 24/7 through the In-Wheel Time app. Be sure and download it if you haven't already from the App Store. We also stream our weekly show on Facebook, YouTube, and InWheelTime.com, and podcasts available from your favorite podcast provider. The In-Wheel Time Car Talk Show will continue right after this quick break.
Free tacos again at the Tailpipes and Tacos pre-holiday cruise-in. It's been a while, but the popular Tailpipes and Tacos cruise-in returns to the Lupi Tortilla Tex-Mex in Katy, Saturday, November 16th. Bring a new unwrapped toy and get a free breakfast taco. Toys will be donated to Toys for Tots and Houston Children's Charity. Get to the best and one of the last cruise-ins of the year. Tailpipes and Tacos, Saturday, November 16th, 8 to 11 a.m. Cruise in, donate a new unwrapped toy, and grab a free Lupi Tortilla breakfast taco. Tailpipes and Tacos only happens at the Lupi Tortilla Tex-Mex in Katy, 703 West Grand Parkway at Kingsland Boulevard, just south of the Katy Freeway. It's the end of the year car show season, and what better way to celebrate than with a free taco and camaraderie at Tailpipes and Tacos, Saturday, November 16th, 8 to 11 a.m. The In-Wheel Time Car Talk Show will be there too. Bring a toy, get a free Lupi taco, and feel good about heading into the holiday season at the Lupi Tortilla Tex-Mex in Katy. Is your car ready for that all-important holiday road trip? Gulf Coast Auto Shield is having another car social Saturday, December 7th, and you're invited. Bring your car, truck, or SUV and find out what it'll take to get that thing looking new again. Gulf Coast Auto Shield is your one-stop shop for paint detailing, coatings, window tint, clear bras, camera installs, and wheel repair. The car social is your opportunity to get a tour of this state-of-the-art facility located at 11275 South Sam Houston Parkway, just south of the Southwest Freeway. Join the car social Saturday, December 7th, 9 to noon. Talk to other owners and see how good your car can look on the road trip to Aunt Mary's. She'll want that good-looking ride in her driveway, I promise. Put it on your calendar. The Gulf Coast Auto Shield Holiday Car Social and Road Trip Get Ready. Saturday, December 7th, 9 to noon at 11275 South Sam Houston Parkway, just south of the Southwest Freeway. The In-Wheel Time Car Talk Show will be there too. We'll see you then.
Welcome back to the In-Wheel Time Car Talk Show on this Saturday. It's already November.
Yeah.
Now we've got Halloween out of the way. It's straight on to the holidays. And
4th of July.
Autorama and Thanksgiving. It's all coming up just 4 weeks.
Yep, sure is.
Yeah. Hey, the In-Wheel Time show has more remote broadcasts lined up during our fall tour, including the Hemi Hideout Open House, November 9th. That's next weekend. We're going to be at the Hemi Hideout. And if you want to get in, all you have to do is go to hemihideout.com and sign up. Tell them that you're coming. Tell them how many people are coming. Bring $10 per person to get in. It's a 2-hour open house for anybody and everybody, and I encourage you to go, especially if you've never been before.
And it's cash.
Cash money.
Yep.
Tailpipes and Tacos, November 16th. That's the following weekend. And Gulf Coast Auto Shield, December 7th. You just heard that commercial. We hope you'll stop by the In Wheel Time remote broadcast booth and say hello. Time now for Jeff's Motor Minute. What you got today?
Well, what I've got is we've had a lot of hurricanes and a lot of floods up in the east part of the United States. Be careful when you buy a used car. That's coming out there. There's a lot of talk about that. Ask to see the title if they have one. Check the vehicle history report if you're buying a used car from that area. Use your nose. If you're getting in the car, smell it. Make sure it doesn't smell musty or like a wet animal.
Or Don Armstrong.
Check the dashboard. Make sure all the lights work. There's no warning lights, no check engine lights are on, anything like that, because that's a sure sign that something's going on. Pull the carpet back. If the carpet feels wet and the jute underneath it is wet or it's moist or smells, be aware. Check the interior spaces. Check underneath the doors if you can. Pop the hood. Hit the road. Take it for a ride. And if all else fails, take it to a mechanic. Take it to someone certified that you trust, AAA, something like that, to make sure that you're buying a good quality car. But they're out there. We've got a lot of flood going on, a lot of stuff on the East Coast and up the central part of the United States, so be careful.
And even here, because, if they don't sell them on the East Coast, chances are there's going to be somebody here that's going to buy them and put them on a used car lot.
Exactly.
And you'll never know. All right, time now for this hour's car review. Don Armstrong had a chance to drive the 2024 Ford F-150.
Yeah.
This is the one. This is a truck that is a desert racer and street guys, the Raptor R 4x4 Super Crew. Now, it's classified as a regular pickup truck, not full size, but it's got a wider body, and it's got Raptor styling, front and rear. You can tell this is a lot different than a standard F-150. Seats 5 was revised in 2023. Exterior features Raptor-specific wide body panels, grille, skid plate up front. Wheel well extensions add to the great-looking style that the vehicle exudes. Dual exhaust, under bed spare tire. You don't see too many of those anymore. Graphics, you can either have them put on there or not. What I liked about it, the stance. Those great big huge tires on the smaller wheels. I love that look. That's not outside of the wheel wells. Even like the raised hood treatment on this. And I usually don't like these sort of things. It's huge. It's like driving a house. I mean, it takes up the entire lane on the freeway.
Use all of it. Eh?
Yeah, it uses every inch. Interior highlights: Raptor-specific seats with Raptor badging embroidered on there. Great dash layout and 2 screens, both for the driver and for the infotainment system. Huge center console that converts to a desktop, which is really a cool thing. And you'll have to go to a Ford dealer and see how that works. It's kind of hard to describe, but imagine that you got your center console and the lid on it as the armrest. Then take it from the back, fold it open, and it folds into this great big writing pad, if you want to call it that.
Desk.
Pretty much. Huge center console, again, converts to the desktop. Lots of cubbies and storage areas throughout the cabin. What I liked about it, easy to use infotainment system, very intuitive. I think you'll like it. Blue Cruise self-driving was pointed out to me by the guy that delivered the truck for me to test drive, and I'll tell you, it is really cool. The changes that they've made to the Blue Cruise and on the Ford lineup, man, that thing works great. And I'm not really into all of that sort of stuff. I like driving.
Right,
actually,
hands-on, yeah.
Yeah, but, at 4 o'clock in the morning driving to work, you hit the Blue Cruise on it, man, the tollway is yours, and it maintains the lane without rocking between the stripes. It's good. So here's the motivation behind the truck. A 5.2-liter supercharged V8. Basically, what this is the Ford Mustang GT 500 engine that they've transplanted into it. 720 horsepower and 640 pound-feet of torque. Gone is the V6 Raptor. Glad to say. It just doesn't hold up to the image of the Raptor. Transmission, 10-speed automatic. Tow rating, 8,700 pounds. Haul rating, 1,400. 10 miles per gallon in the city and 15 on the highway for a combined of 12. Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Open up that wallet at the gas pump. I got 12.4 miles per gallon over 317.9 miles. What I liked about it? Herculean power.
Oh, man.
What could use improvement? Duh. Mileage. But you know what? It is so much fun to drive. With all that power right there at your right foot, you go, do I mash it just a little bit harder? I made the mistake. Kind of a mistake. I think
Be a faux pas.
in the bowels of my mind, it wasn't a mistake, but it's another story for another day. I let it downshift into second gear and broke the back tires loose. Golly.
We'll have to edit that.
Ride and handling. Beadlock capable wheels, 37-inch tires. Wow. Rear springs, long travel, special shocks, smooths out all the sinkholes on the freeway. But I didn't take it off-road, and I didn't do any jumps with it or anything crazy. But I can only imagine that's what it's built for. It does that sort of thing. Super Crew 4-door wheelbase limits its rock climbing and crawling capability. You'll center stack it. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Right, high ride it right in the middle. Yep. You don't want to do that. But it does have a very long wheelbase. Base trim price, $77,980. Price is tested. Sitting still. $113,640.
That's the same mileage you got. You got that in the same mileage. 113.
Pretty much.
13 to 13.
Yeah. 113,640. Base model price, nobody cares. Competitors to this vehicle, well, there aren't really any. Ram 1500 TRX that they don't make anymore had 702 horsepower. They've got this new 6-cylinder that they're bragging about. GMC Sierra AT4X, 6.2-liter V8, 420 horsepower, $81,000. Now, this kind of sits out there by itself, and I got lots of thumbs up. So if you like thumbs up and car you're driving, get that.
Well, I rode with you in it for a short period of time. It's a nice truck.
It's a beast. Yeah, it's a very nice truck, and it's also a beast. Mm-hmm. Hey, if you'd like to get in touch with us, shoot us an email. The address, info@inwheeltime.com. We will be back after these brief messages.
The holidays are upon us, and Pro-Am Auto Accessories is your local one-stop for the auto enthusiast on your gift list. Pro-Am Auto has been serving Houston since 1984, providing world-class products for sports cars, European sedans, and American muscle. Pro-Am was one of the very first distributors in the U.S. for brands such as Recaro, Redline, Momo, Corbo, and Simpson. Located in the heart of Houston's premier shopping corridor, the Galleria area, Pro-Am's walk-in storefront includes an 8,000-square-foot warehouse and showroom with installation and service bays. Pro-Am reaches a worldwide audience through ProAmAuto.com, taking its local reputation to the rest of the world. Holiday gift-giving is alive and well at Pro-Am Auto. If you don't see what you're looking for on the website, call and Pro-Am will lend you a hand. Pro-Am Auto, 6125 Richmond at Green Ridge in Houston's Galleria area. Call them at 713-781-7755. The fabulous Hemi Hideout is having an open house, and you're invited. Mark your calendar for Saturday, November 9th, 10:30 to 12:30, and make a reservation today for a 2-hour opportunity to see an eye-popping tribute to American muscle cars, a collection of neon signs that'll dazzle, all in a venue like no other in the country. Entry to this rare Hemi Hideout open house is by reservation only, 713-825-2555. The $10 cash donation per person is matched and given to Brookshire Charities. See you November 9th at the Hemi Hideout, and Will Time will be there too.
Hey, Houston, it's back! America's greatest hot rod tradition is Thanksgiving weekend. The O'Reilly Auto Parts Autorama at the George R. Brown Convention Center. 4 days of hot rods, customs, trucks, and muscle cars. Don't miss the Evel Knievel tribute. The Megamorph. Transforming robot car. Lowrider Showcase. Meet Catherine Bach from Dukes of Hazzard. Hip-hop legend Flava Flav. Farm Truck and Asian from Street Outlaws. Autorama. Thanksgiving weekend. Discount tickets tickets at O'Reilly Auto Parts, part of the Summer Racing Equipment Show Car Series. See Autorama.com for more info.
That's it for this podcast episode of the In Wheel Time Car Show. I'm Don Armstrong, inviting you to join us for our live show every Saturday morning on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and our InWheelTime.com website. Podcasts are available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, iHeart Podcast, Podcast Addict, TuneIn, Pandora, and Amazon Music. Keep listening, and we'll see you soon.